Dear student, due to coronavirus, school started online classes for your study. So you can subscribe Golden Flower Palia YouTube channel, like and press the bell icon.
Hello everyone. How are you all? I hope you all are doing very well. So today I am Mohammad Fazan Shamsi from the Golden Flower Senior Secondary School once again here with the second lecture of the class 11th biology and from the same chapter, that is the chapter number 1, diversity in the living world. In the previous topic, in the previous video, in the previous lecture, we have discussed about the basic and general things related with this chapter. Today onwards, we will start the tough topics of this chapter. In the last topic, we have discussed the systems of the classification. When the last lecture we have finished, we have discussed the last topic of the last lecture was the systems of the classification. Systems of the classification means what are the classifications on the basis of the organisms are categorized into the different groups. The organisms are categorized into the different groups. Out of that you have studied the first one is the artificial, second one is the natural, and third one is the phylogenetic. These three methods you have studied of the classification in the last topic. Again I am telling you artificial. Artificial, this method was given by the Pliny, and in this method he has concluded that all kind of the organism he has categorized on the basis of the habitat. The organisms which are living in the water, which are living on the land, which are living in the air, on the basis of the habitat he has categorized the organism into the different categories. Now the second one is the natural classification. This classification states that all the organisms are categorized into the different groups on the basis of their natural properties, like physiological characters, like internal anatomy, internal study which is called the anatomy, like morphology, like physiology. So all the complex aspects are considered in this group, that is called the natural classification. And the last one we have studied, that is the phylogenetic classification. Phylogenetic means when we study one organism character with any other species characters, that is called the evolutionary. Now come on the next. Today's first topic is the three domains of the classification. This classification is the very primitive classification. In the next coming lectures, this classification also will not be beneficial, because after that the more and more classifications are given by the different scientists. But I am telling you there are the three domains of life. Three domains of means of life means what are the basis on which the organisms are categorized into the three groups. First one is the archaeobacteria. Archaeobacteria are the very simplest kind of the bacteria which you have studied in the class 9th. In this the different methanogens and the different acidophils bacteria are included. In this archaeobacteria, what are the characteristics of the archaeobacteria? In archaeobacteria, the outer wall means the outer covering of the bacteria not made up of peptidoglycan. This is the archaeobacteria. These are the very primitive and simple kind of the bacteria. They are also called the prokaryotes, and this type of the bacteria, the outer wall is not made up of the peptidoglycan. So this kind of the bacteria are called the archaeobacteria, and the characters may be many more. Second one is the bacteria. This is the, you can say the bacteria are the very true bacteria. True bacteria means these are those bacteria which follow. These are those bacteria which follow the all typical characters of a prokaryotic cell. the outer cell wall, or you can say the outer covering of the bacteria is made up of peptidoglycan. Peptidoglycan. What is the peptidoglycan? What is the peptidoglycan? Peptidoglycan is a type of the carbohydrate. Peptidoglycan is a type of carbohydrate which forms the outer cell wall of the bacteria. So in that case you have to study that the bacteria are the true bacteria in which the outer cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. In which the outer cell wall is made up of the peptidoglycan. They are called the bacteria, a true bacteria. In this bacteria, the chromatin material means true nucleus is absent in this kind of the bacteria, and the genetic material, everything is directly suspended in the cytoplasm. So they are the bacteria. Now what are the eukaryota? Eukaryota, or you can say the eukaryotes. The eukaryota, or you can say the eukaryotes, means this is the third domain. Domains means you can say the base, the part. This is the third part of the classification in which the all eukaryotes are placed. What are the characters of the eukaryotes? In the eukaryotes, the true or well developed nucleus will be present. The outer membrane will be made up of cell wall or cell membrane, which is made up of the protein. We will discuss later on in the structure of the cell chapter. Then these are the three bases. These are the three domains of the classification. Three domains of life, you can say, three domains of the classification on which the organisms are categorized into the different groups. Now the next topic is the taxonomy. Next group is the taxonomy. This definition already we have discussed in the last video, but again I am telling you, this is the branch of the biology in which the organisms are categorized into the different parts. First of all, we have to identify the organism, then we have to give the name to particular that organism, and second one we have to classify. Classify means we have to provide a particular place to any organism. That is called the classification. So taxonomy, the branch of biology which deals the identification, nomenclature and classification of organisms, that is called the taxonomy. Taxonomy. This is the branch of biology, taxonomy. And the last video I discussed with you that the unit of the taxonomy, the unit of the classification is the taxa. We will discuss in detail form in later on. So identification means we have to match the characters. We have to identify the characters of particular organism. Second one is the nomenclature, to provide the name. What kind of the name? To provide a biological or scientific name to any living organism, that is called the nomenclature. And nomenclature categorization we will study in this same chapter. Now next one is the phylogeny. These three topics. First one is the taxonomy, phylogeny and systematics. These are the three bases of the classification. These are the three bases of the classification. The first one is the taxonomy. Second one is the phylogeny. First one is, second one is, and third one is. So phylogeny is study of evolutionary history. Evolutionary history, I think you have studied in the class 10th also. What is the evolution? The development of the new species from the pre-existing species, that is called the evolution. It means if somewhere we are getting the different fossils, the different organism in the digging of the earth, then that is called the fossil. So what we have to do? We have to match the characters with the previously present species, that is called the evolutionary relationship. So if just for example we are getting the fossil and we have to identify that organism and we have to classify that organism into a particular group. So first of all, we will match the characters of that fossil with the previously present species, because that is the fossil. So the population of that species are nowadays, current days, in the current way, that is not available. So what we have to do? Obviously we are having only one method, that we have to match the characters of that fossil or species with the previously existing species. That is called the phylogeny relationship, or you can say the evolutionary relationship. Just for example, I can give you the one example here. For example, in the class 9th and onwards, you have studied the different chordates. For example, you have studied species, then amphibians, then reptiles, then apes, then mammals. Okay, species, amphibian, reptiles, apes, mammals. It's a very short description. It's a very short description of the evolution. In this chart, you can identify the species. The amphibians are developed from species. The reptiles are developed from amphibians. Apes are developed from reptiles, and mammals are developed from apes. So what is this? This is the categorization, or you can say this is the evolutionary history. This is the evolutionary relationship, that they all are chordates. They all are chordates. They all are chordates. So what is that? This is the relationship. Here is the relationship between these. That relationship is called the phylogeny or phylogenetic character. That is called the evolutionary history. I hope this is clear to you. Next one is the systematics. Systematic means the method of the classification. Systematic means method of classification. So systematics is a branch of biology, deals comparative and evolutionary study. Evolutionary relationship. Systematic means the method of the classification, means what are the basis, that on the basis of that you have to classify any organism. That is called the biology. Deals comparative. Comparative means we have to compare. Different branches are included in this comparative, just comparative anatomy, comparative morphology, comparative physiology, comparative, different kinds of the categorization are included in this. Comparative physiology, comparative anatomy means the internal structures we have to match. We have to compare the external structure of the different organisms. That is called the comparative study. Next one is the evolutionary relationship. So same again to the phylogeny, goes to the phylogeny, this topic. That is the evolutionary relationship, means we have to match the characters with the previous species. That is called evolutionary relationship. So what are these? These are the basic things of the classification. Now, next one topic is the utility of systematics. Next one is the utility of systematics. Utility means what are the uses, what are the benefits, what is the importance of the systematics. Again, I am telling you systematics means classification. Again, I am telling you systematics means classification. So first one is in the study of other discipline of biology. In the study of other discipline of biology means systematic, when we will classify the organism, because it is very, very, very tough. You know very well that different, many million kinds of the species of plants and animals are available on the earth. So it is very tough to study individually on a particular type of species or group of organism. So it is very tough. So we have to make the classification or systematics. We have to make the group, so to make study easy and in a very disciplined way. It is not easy job to identify, to classify, to study the organism on individual level. So we have need of systematics. Second one is the applied biology. Applied biology means now the again and again researches are going on, and this new discoveries are going on. So on the basis of that, the systematics are very helpful. Second one is the study of organism. Study of organism means, again same thing is here, the study of different kinds of organism by making the groups into the similar properties, so that we can identify the organism on a very smooth and easy way. Next one is the evolution of crops. Evolution of crops, you can say, when we will identify, we will make the groups. When we will make the groups of organism, on the basis of that, we can classify the plants. Just for example, medicinal, all kinds of the medicinal plants are included in one group. Second one, ornamental plant. Just for example, ornamental plants are included in the separate group. And third one is the food plants. Those plants which are providing the food materials, they are grouped into the separate group. They are included into a separate group. So on the basis of the systematics, we can classify the plants on the basis of the medicinal, ornamental and food, and maybe many more. Next, last utility of the classification is the indicators. Many plants are the indicators of the pollution. Many plants are the indicators of the pollution and other informations also. So by the systematics of the classification, we can say that this plant or this kind of the plant is helping to us in finding the different categories, and pollution, which is the most important indicator of the environmental pollution. So for the today's lecture, it's a very summary. You can prepare notes with the given material. Keep working. I will come with the next video with the next topics, and if you are feeling good that you can make the notes with my explanation, that you can do. All the best.
Save later. Thank you very much.